A mechanic with 23 years in this industry told me something I will never forget. He said, "I would rather turn down the money than open the bay door for one of those units. Because once you start, you cannot stop. And by the time you're done, the repair bill is bigger than what the thing is worth." Let that sink in for a second. There are RVs sitting on dealer lots right now, with six-figure price tags, glossy brochures, and salesmen who will tell you that you are buying freedom on wheels that trained, experienced, independent mechanics will not touch. Not because they are lazy, not because they do not have the skills, but because these units were engineered in a way that makes them nearly impossible to service without tearing the entire thing apart. Here's the thing, the RV industry does not want you to know this. They want you to believe that every unit rolling off the line in Elkhart, Indiana is road ready and built to last. But 80% of America's RVs come from that one region, and the factory system that builds them rewards speed over quality. Workers are paid on a piece rate system, meaning the faster they bolt it together, the more they earn, and the results are exactly what you would expect. Today, we are auditing 5 RVs that mechanics flat out refuse to work on. And the engineering disasters hiding behind the marketing. We are going to name them, rank them, and show you the forensic evidence. Smash that subscribe button because we are about to save you from some seriously expensive mistakes. And stick around for number 1 on this list. That brand has racked up more safety recalls in the last decade than some of Detroit's biggest automakers. And the repair horror stories will make your stomach turn. Let us get into it. Number 5, Coachmen. Coming in at number 5 is Coachmen. Now, Coachmen has been around for over 50 years. They have the name recognition, they have the dealer network. And if you walk through one of their units at an RV show, it looks fine. Clean lines, decent layout, competitive price. But here is what you do not see on the showroom floor, and what every independent mechanic in the country already knows. Coachmen is a subsidiary of Forest River, which means it is built in the same Elkhart ecosystem, under the same piece rate pay structure, with the same race to the bottom material choices. And the serviceability of these units reflects that reality. The number one complaint mechanics have with Coachmen is accessibility. The plumbing in many Coachmen models is routed inside the walls with no service panels. That means when a water line fails, and it will store, the mechanic cannot get to it without ripping open the wall. A $40 fitting becomes a $2,000 demolition project. Mechanics are not interested in spending 12 hours deconstructing a bathroom wall to get to a leaking PEX line that should have had an access panel from the factory. Then there is the particle board. Coachmen uses particle board shelving inside cabinets that warps and buckles under the weight of normal kitchen gear. Owners report ceiling panels working loose and sagging after a few thousand miles. Trim pieces pop off. Cabinet doors lose alignment. And the roof edges and slide-out seams, they are leak magnets. When water gets in, and on a Coachmen, it is a matter of when, not if, it rots the wood framing from the inside out. By the time you see the damage, the structural integrity is already compromised. And here is the part that really gets mechanics. Once water intrusion starts on a Coachmen, it is nearly impossible to trace the source without pulling apart multiple panels, because the water travels along hidden channels between the interior skin and the outer wall. A mechanic is not going to play detective on a unit that was designed to hide its own failures. Translation, you are buying a $50,000 unit where a plumber cannot even reach the pipes without a demolition crew, and the shelves cannot hold a cast iron pan without bowing. Mechanics look at that and say, not worth my time, not worth the liability. The verdict, Coachmen is the RV equivalent of a house with the electrical panel hidden behind a brick wall. It looks fine until something breaks, and then everything breaks. But if you think Barry Plumbing is bad, the next brand on this list has an interior that starts falling apart before you eat. Number 4, Fleetwood. At number 4, we have Fleetwood. And this one stings because Fleetwood used to mean something. Decades ago, a Fleetwood motorhome was a mark of quality. Your parents or grandparents might have owned one and driven it for 20 years without a major issue. But the Fleetwood of today is not the Fleetwood of yesterday, not even close. Fleetwood is now part of the Rev Group, and recent owner feedback paints a brutal picture. The interior build quality has cratered. Owners report peeling wall panels within months of purchase. Upholstery that looks like it was sourced from a discount furniture liquidator. Trim pieces that rattle loose after a single trip. hinges that give out, components that loosen or deteriorate under normal road vibration, and flooring that develops soft spots from water damage because the seals were never applied correctly at the factory. But the real issue is delamination, the exterior siding separating from the walls, creating that telltale wavy, bubbling appearance that screams structural water damage. Once delamination starts on a Fleetwood, you are looking at a cascading failure. Water gets behind the skin, soaks into the framing, breeds mold you cannot see, and compromises the structural bond holding the wall together. Repairing delamination properly can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 per wall. Most mechanics will not even quote the job because the scope of the damage is unpredictable until you start peeling things apart. And once you start, you often find that the rot goes far deeper than the surface suggested. But here's the part that makes mechanics walk away. Fleetwood's warranty service is notorious for delays and denials. When a mechanic submits a warranty claim on behalf of an owner, they are entering a bureaucratic black hole. Parts take weeks, approvals take longer, and the reimbursement rates are so low that the mechanic actually loses money doing the work. One independent shop owner put it this way: "I'm not running a charity. If the manufacturer is going to fight me on every claim and pay me 60 cents on the dollar, I will spend my time on units where I actually get compensated for my expertise." The HVAC failures are another deal breaker. Fleetwood units have documented issues with heating and cooling systems that malfunction early and often, leveling systems that refuse to calibrate, electrical gremlins that no wiring diagram can explain. Because, like most Elkhart built units, there often is no wiring diagram. The technician at your local shop might spend as much time figuring out how the thing is wired as they spend actually fixing the problem. Translation: you are paying for a legacy name that no longer builds a legacy product. The Fleetwood badge on the outside has become a warning label for the mechanic on the inside. The verdict? Fleetwood is a name on life support. The body is still moving, but the soul left a long time ago, held together by hope and self-tapping screws. And if a dead brand walking concerns you, wait until you hear about number 3, where the electrical system is so unreliable that mechanics worry about their own safety. Number 3, Thor Hurricane. Number 3 is the Thor Hurricane. And with this one, we need to talk about something that does not get enough attention in this industry: liability. Thor Motor Coach is one of the largest RV manufacturers on the planet. They own Jayco, Keystone, Airstream, and dozens of other brands. They are a corporate empire, and the Hurricane is one of their flagship motorhome lines. It is marketed as an accessible Class A, the kind of unit that a first-time motorhome buyer might stretch their budget to afford. But what Thor is selling you in glossy marketing materials is not what the mechanic sees when you roll it into the shop. The Thor Hurricane has a documented history of electrical system failures that range from annoying to dangerous. Owners report outlets that do not work, battery charging systems that fail without warning, hydraulic jack malfunctions that leave the unit unable to level, or worse, unable to retract, stranding you at a campsite with jacks frozen in place and no way to drive away. Parking brake concerns are another recurring issue, and the quality control on newer models has become so inconsistent that mechanics report finding issues that should have been caught at the factory during a basic pre-delivery inspection. Multiple owners have documented their experience on consumer forums. Brand new Hurricanes arriving with appliances that do not function, GFI outlets that trip constantly and control half the receptacles in the unit, and refrigerators that stop working within the first season. One owner described their experience by saying the quality control was never performed on their unit and the installation was extremely poor. That is not a used unit with wear and tear. That is a brand new motorhome, fresh off the line, delivered with defects that a 15-minute walkthrough should have caught. Here is where the liability piece comes in. When a mechanic opens up a Thor Hurricane's electrical panel and finds wiring that was not installed to code, they have a choice. They can try to fix it and assume responsibility for anything that goes wrong downstream, or they can close the panel and tell the owner to take it back to the dealer. Most experienced independents choose the second option, because if that wiring causes a fire 6 months later, the lawyer is not going to call Thor. The lawyer is going to call the last person who touched it. One REV technician who works on units across the country said it plainly: "I have to deliver the bad news because the manufacturer cannot step up. And sometimes the bad news is that your unit is not safe, and I'm not the one who should be trying to make it safe. That is a factory problem." Translation: the Thor Hurricane is not a motorhome. It is a liability transfer device. Thor builds it fast, ships it flawed, and when it inevitably breaks, the mechanic, not the manufacturer, is the one holding the bag, and if you are finding this breakdown useful, hit the like button. It really helps the channel cut through the noise. Now, number 2 on this list takes everything we have talked about so far, bad materials, buried components, warranty games, and adds one more devastating layer, a parts lockout system designed to keep you trapped in the dealer network forever. Number 2, Keystone. And number 2 is Keystone. And this is a big one because Keystone is everywhere. They are one of the largest towable RV manufacturers in North America. If you have been to an RV show in the last 10 years, you have walked through a Keystone, Montana, Cougar, Outback, Raptor, Hideout. The lineup is massive, the market share is enormous, and the problems are systemic. Let us start with the structural issues. Keystone owners, particularly those with heavier fifth wheels like the Montana and Alpine, report frame flex near the pin box area. We are talking front caps cracking, stress fractures at the bedroom slide, doors going out of square, and popping noises when the unit is being leveled. This is not cosmetic damage. This is structural failure that affects tow safety, livability, and resale value. Then there is the water intrusion. Keystone units have well-documented issues with leaks around roofs, slide-out seams, and windows. When water gets in, it damages cabinetry, warps trim, and breeds mold inside walls that the owner cannot see and a mechanic cannot access without major disassembly. Multiple owners on the Better Business Bureau site describe finding screws and staples that were misplaced during assembly and poking through the other side of the wood. Inside cabinets, behind panels, in places where a hand or an arm could get cut. One owner reported that when the dealer removed the roof to address a leak, they discovered that the entire roof area had not been screwed down at all, not loose, not underfastened, completely unsecured. That is not a defect, that is an assembly line that skipped an entire step. But here's the detail that truly puts Keystone on this list. Go to their website right now and look at their parts policy. It says it right there in plain text, parts can only be obtained through an authorized Keystone dealer service center. That is a direct quote. What that means for you as an owner is that when something breaks, a unique bracket, a proprietary seal, a specific trim piece, your independent mechanic cannot order the replacement part. They are locked out. The only path to repair runs through the dealer network, where wait times of 3 to 6 months are common and warranty reimbursement rates are so low that many dealers deprioritize the work entirely. Mechanics are not going to start a job they cannot finish because the parts are held hostage behind a dealer only. Firewall. One shop owner told me he stopped accepting Keystone units entirely after a customer's trailer sat in his lot for 4 months waiting on a bracket that Keystone would only ship to an authorized dealer 90 miles away. Translation, Keystone did not design an RV. They designed a subscription service. You paid the sticker price and now you pay again every time something breaks. But only at the locations they approve, at the pace they dictate, at the price they set. If this is already saving you from a headache, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you do not miss what is next, because number 1 on this list is not here by accident. This brand has been investigated by the Wall Street Journal, scrutinized by federal regulators, and has racked up more safety recalls in the last 10 years than some of America's biggest automakers. And the repair stories are not horror stories, they are engineering crimes. Number 1. Forest River. Number 1. The brand that mechanics across the country have placed at the very top of their personal blacklist is Forest River. Forest River is owned by Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company. You would think that kind of corporate backing would mean world-class quality control. You would be wrong, because Forest River does not operate like a Berkshire portfolio company that prioritizes long-term value. It operates like a volume machine. The company sells over 100,000 RVs per year and generates more than $6 billion in annual revenue. And the way it achieves those numbers is by pushing units out the door as fast as humanly possible. And I do mean humanly, because unlike the auto industry, where robots perform precision assembly with millimeter tolerances, RVs are built almost entirely by hand. Workers on the Forest River line are paid piece rate, a system where you earn a low base wage around $10 an hour. And then bonuses kick in when you hit your production quota. The faster you finish, the sooner you go home. The incentive is speed, not quality, not safety, speed. The results speak for themselves. A 2025 Wall Street Journal investigation found that Forest River had issued more recalls than any United States automaker or RV manufacturer over the prior decade. We are talking about an average of 50 recalls per year. And these are not minor labeling errors. These are wiring defects that can cause short circuits and fires. Propane tank brackets with welds that crack and allow LP tanks to detach from the vehicle. Distribution panel wires connected to batteries without overcurrent protection. furnace vents that are misaligned, workers puncturing microwaves with incorrectly sized screws during installation, 41,000 vehicles recalled in a single wave for electrical components wired incorrectly. Let that number settle in, 41,000. And here is the kicker. Consumer Affairs reports that more than 3,000 customers have called Forest River's customer service line through their platform. The resolution rate, 2%. 2 out of every 100 people who called actually got their problem resolved. Mechanics have a term for Forest River units that come into the shop. They call them mystery boxes because there are no standardized wiring diagrams. There are no consistent plumbing schematics. Every unit is slightly different because every unit was hand-built by a different crew on a different day under different production pressures. The technician spends half the labor hours figuring out how the previous crew assembled the thing, and the other half trying to undo the damage. One veteran repair shop owner with over 25 years in the industry said he stopped doing warranty work on Forest River units entirely. His reason? The manufacturer fights every claim, pays less than customer rate labor, and the units come in with so many pre-existing defects that I cannot tell where the original build ends and the new problem begins. I am not a forensic investigator. I am a mechanic. Translation: a Forest River is not an RV manufacturer. It is a recall factory with a marketing department. You are buying a unit that was assembled at a dead sprint by workers who are financially incentivized to cut corners, built without standardized documentation, and backed by a customer service operation that resolves 2% of complaints. And when it inevitably fails, the independent mechanic in your town, the person you're counting on, will not touch it because the math does not work, the liability does not work, and the unit does not work. The verdict? Forest River is the final boss of unserviceable RVs. It is the brand that proved you can sell $6 billion worth of product per year while building units that trained professionals refuse to repair. Stop shopping like a victim and start thinking like an auditor. So there it is, 5 RVs. 5 brands that mechanics across this country have quietly, and sometimes not so quietly, placed on their personal blacklist. Not because they do not want the work, but because these manufacturers have created units that are engineered to be sold, not serviced. And that distinction matters, because when the slide-out seal fails at 11 p.m. in a campground 200 miles from home, you are not calling the dealer. You are calling the closest mobile tech or independent shop. And if that tech looks at your brand, checks the model, and says, "I'm sorry, I do not work on those," you are stranded. With a unit that is worth less every day it sits broken. This is not an accident. This is the business model. Build fast, sell fast. Let the consumer figure out the rest. And the piece rate pay system in Elkhart, where 80% of these units are built, is the engine that drives the entire cycle. Speed over quality, volume over integrity, quarterly numbers over your family's safety on the road. Here is your action plan. 4 things you do before you sign anything on your next RV purchase. First, ask the dealer this question. Can an independent mechanic service this unit without proprietary tools or dealer-only parts? If the answer is no, or if they hesitate, walk away. That hesitation is telling you everything the brochure will not. Second, search the NHTSA recall database for the exact model and year you are considering. Not the brand in general. That's the specific model and production year. If that combination has more than 10 recalls in the past 24 months, you are looking at a pattern, not a fluke. And patterns do not fix themselves. Third, call 2 or 3 independent RV repair shops in your area and ask them which brands they refuse to service. You will hear the same names over and over again, and those names should be your personal blacklist. The mechanic has no incentive to lie to you. They are turning down paying work. When a professional says, "I will not touch that brand," believe them. Fourth, do not fall for the sticker. A $150,000 price tag does not mean $150,000 worth of engineering. Some of the most expensive units on the lot are the most unserviceable units in the industry. Price is what they charge you. Value is what you can actually maintain over 5, 10, 15 years of ownership. If you cannot get it serviced at a reasonable cost within a reasonable distance, it is not an investment. It is a depreciating liability parked in your driveway. The RV industry will not fix itself. The manufacturers have no incentive to change as long as the units keep selling. So the only leverage you have is your wallet and your willingness to ask the questions they do not want you to ask. Let me know in the comments which brand on this list surprised you the most. And if you want to make smarter choices, subscribe and hit the bell. I'll see you in the next one.